I'm so excited the babes get to have coffee with us this morning.
It's coffee time, babes. We are back. We're back in the studio. I can't even believe that I was able to book with you. You're so famous now.
I don't know that I am famous, but yes, maybe like the shirt is famous. Maybe my kids are famous.
Where have I
I
seen
mean,
that shirt?
they think they are for sure
Because they
celebrities,
are.
A-listers. Yes.
Thousand
It
percent.
has, it's been a fun couple weeks because we've been holding on to a secret for a year now.
More than a year. Over a year, we've been holding on to a secret. Although I will say that we teased it just a little bit.
We did. It's okay. I think teasers are okay.
Teasers are fine, but we did sign an NDA. It was my first NDA. Was it your first NDA?
Yeah. I mean, and it was not just one NDA. So many NDAs did I sign, and my kids had to sign.
We're actually still being teasers right now.
Oh
We
my
are, of
gosh. Should we
course, talking
stop? We're
about
being. Should we stop flirting? Like, let's just get to it.
it's like this is very clickbaity. We are so excited for today's episode because we finally get to talk about the Ted Lasso experience in Kansas City.
It doesn't feel real that, like, saying it out loud, I know it happened, but it is so surreal still. It doesn't feel like
Yes.
it could be possible in this lifetime.
So if you don't follow us on Instagram, if you don't pay attention to Ted Lasso, the new season came out, which we kind of thought that Ted Lasso was done like a few years ago, like 3 years ago. I mean, it really wrapped up really nicely. And if you read some of the stories that are out there, they just decided we decided we were done with this like amazing, incredible feeling of this show. And so they brought it back. And one of the super special things is that Jason Sudeikis, who plays Ted Lasso, is from Kansas City. We could probably have a full episode of all the things he still does for the Kansas City community, how often he's there, and gives back to Children's Mercy Hospital. He was insistent upon filming the first episode of the season in Kansas City, and we got to be extras in it. And not only us, but Julie's kids, our niece, lots and lots of people. So we are going to do just like a small snippet of what that experience was like today and reassure you all, here's the overall story. It's an amazing show with great people. It's also made by really great people. So we're so excited to talk about them today.
Yeah, I hope if you haven't watched the show yet, this will convince you to please watch Ted Lasso. It is such a feel-good show. So many deep messages and things the world needs to hear, a heavy mental health aspects to it. The way they show it coming up in families naturally, it really does kind of give us that nudge to like, oh, maybe we should have that conversation. Like these are normal things that happen in every family. It's not just us or our marriage or our kids or our workplace.
I've read a couple of articles since the new season came out, and there's this idea of how Ted Lasso doesn't do toxic positivity. Like you think it would. You see these little clips of like these really funny things or the way that Ted thinks, and it's not shoving down positivity down your throat. It is definitely addressing some of the hard things that we all go through. And especially actually in this first episode, you see a very different dynamic of Ted. My husband and I are very much like if everybody's watching something and says it's great, we're just like a little leery about that. And then, of course, we watched it and we were like, okay, well, everyone is right. Everyone is right.
Yep.
It's a
Same.
brilliant show.
Yes. Oh my gosh. They think through every single detail, which was so fun to get a behind the scenes peek at some of the decision making that they have and why they did things a certain way. So let's
Yes.
get into it.
Let's get into it. So we knew through some of the promos for this season that episode 1 was going to be a love letter to Kansas City. And if you haven't watched it,
Spoilers.
Spoiler. Go watch it. Turn us off and go watch it.
Yes. Much more important.
I would say it is a love letter to Kansas City. There are so many cool aspects of Kansas City where, of course, I am from. Julie has lived there pretty much her entire life. And Julie, you got this ball rolling for all of us. So credit to Julie because My sister, I can't remember if I mentioned that several sisters are in the show, and we'll probably put some slices into Instagram so you can see all the parts that everyone's in. We've got nieces and nephews in there, but you got the ball rolling. How did you hear about Ted Lasso needing extras?
I am so glad you brought that up, that I got the ball rolling, because I forgot to
You're welcome.
send out invoices to everyone that made it in the show for my 10% cut as a
Yeah.
finder's fee. So you can expect that coming soon.
Can't wait.
Yes,
Can't wait.
it'll be great. Um, how did I get the ball rolling on this? I was honestly just scrolling on the internet and I saw some of the news articles saying this high profile show is coming to Kansas City. They said Ted Lasso is going to be recording here. And there was a couple different like clickbaity, hey, apply to be a background actor. Some of it was like, pay this amount, do this, and you could be on the show. I had some extra time on my hands, so I did some deep dive research on finding the actual casting company. I was still a little nervous because I don't know, we've never done anything like this before, but let's go for it. This is pretty cool. This show means a lot to us, so let's try. So I found the casting company. I set up profiles for my 3 boys, and we are not actors or have, like I said, done anything like this before. So I had to find headshot photos, good photos for that, full body, faces, all their sizes, all their clothes sizes, any extra things they could do. So like on screen, if they could play baseball or soccer or play an instrument, I had to fill out profiles like that. The hardest part was separate email addresses for each child and each adult. So I was just managing a lot behind the scenes. And a couple weeks later, we got an email and it was like, hey, your son has been chosen for this, and then another one, and then another one. And all 3 of my boys got chosen to be on this show, which at the time was called Nando Season 4. And
Nando season
and
4. Yes.
yes, NIND, yes. But I knew, but like the marketing for it was saying like a high profile show, Season 4. Like we knew, like I had a feeling it was Ted Lasso. I was going out on a limb here. But then the day before it says that where they're going to be recording came, and I got absolutely no information. And I was like, oh, it was a scam. This isn't real. Because they didn't send like, hey, you need to be here at this time or whatever. They just said recording this day. So the day went by and I was like, okay, well, it didn't happen. At this point, I hadn't told anyone. I told Barry I did this, but maybe not even Barry. I hadn't told anyone I filled out this profile or that this was happening. But then in the middle of the night, the night before the morning we were supposed to be there, I got an email and it was like, click this, sign this NDA, and then we'll give you the information on what you need to wear and where you need to be and what time tomorrow morning. And it was like 9 a.m. Wear Casey current colors, which is navy blue, teal, red, white. If you don't have those, don't worry. Just come in a blank shirt and we'll figure it out. And the location, which was our Casey Current Stadium downtown. And I was like, holy crap, this is happening. I was beyond at that point. But I still didn't know if it's Ted Lasso for sure. I have to see it with my eyes. So the day before me thinking it was going to be Ted Lasso, as you all know, we can easily 3D print items in our home. I decided that I would print like 10 of these little Believe keychains and throw them in my purse just because if it was real and if it was happening, like maybe we could get one to Jason or other actresses or the crew and we could kind of share our Casey kind story. So printed them out, threw them in my purse, grabbed some of our Casey baby stickers as well. Went to the stadium with the boys. We had to have one parent there, which was me because I still, I was suspicious and Barry was very suspicious at this point. So he was definitely, yes. I get the boys down there.
Nando season 4.
I know. Like, what? When I got there, it was confirmed pretty quickly that this was Ted Lasso. We saw the actors coming in their vans, kind of all, everything was set up. It was very legit. Everyone was so kind. They got us signed in, and then they basically did hair and makeup, made sure everyone was wearing what they'd like. I put the boys in our 3Q1 Prints Casey Kind logo shirts because it is for the Casey Current. And
Of
I
course,
thought, well,
if you didn't listen to the last episode, 3Q1 Prince is Quentin, Julie's 15-year-old son's business, 3D printing business. And I do want to ask about
yes.
the KC Kind. What you got to break that down. What is the KC Kind logo?
Okay, so like the 30-second elevator speech is when Quentin went viral. We did not expect that, much like when we didn't expect it when hard things happened to us. And our community really just surrounded us and helped us through that time. And so we were like, well, we didn't expect all this money coming in or all this love, all this attention. So let's just pay it forward. So that's when Casey Kind was born, where we decided, okay, we're going to take the energy that's being poured toward us and just pay it right back into our community. So we came up with Casey Kind, which is our way of financially giving back to different programs, specifically based on mental health and wellness in the community, but also with our keychains. We still do random acts of kindness in the community and do heavy donations with merchandise as much as we can. So that's the little quick how Casey Kind was born. The cool thing about these shirts are everyone loved our logo so much, so like we wanted on a shirt. So at the time, Allie was working at Air Academy High School, where they had a growing business where their students were able to make shirts. I say at the time, you're back there.
Still there. Still there. Back home. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the cadets.
Yeah, so these shirts were made by students, which is super, super cool. We just love supporting youth and any of their great ideas. So sorry, that was more than 30 seconds, but does that help clear up?
I did time you. It was a little over a minute. It was actually a minute and 30 seconds. A minute and 25 seconds.
When we take out all the likes and ums, it'll probably be like 25 seconds.
Yes. So I want to take a note because you mentioned KC Current, which is if you've never been to Kansas City, it is unlike any other place in the world. It is a very special town. There is nothing like the hometown pride that Kansas City has. And it's not just about the Chiefs or the Royals. It is literally hometown pride about anything Kansas City. So KC Current is, what's that team? What are they all about?
It's our women's professional soccer team or football team. It is the first of its kind anywhere in the US. They have amazing facilities. It is the most beautiful stadium. I have gotten an inside look at the locker room and just everything behind the scenes. Everything was so detail oriented and just beautiful, and the best facilities for our best players in our city.
And please fact check me if I'm wrong. First stadium built specifically for women's soccer.
Yes.
In the world.
And it's kind of setting the standard for the other organizations that are in the US, the other teams that are playing, because they're playing in someone else's stadium right now.
Right.
So I know Denver is building theirs now. Like they're kind of setting the standards, and oh my goodness, did they do a great job with that, because it is the most beautiful facility.
So I'm trying to remember if at this time, was it confirmed by Ted Lasso that it was going to be based on women's soccer, women's football, or were we just guessing?
We were guessing, and also they were keeping all of this so under wraps. So a couple things had come out on social media, because the plaza is a very like open space. So people saw them recording there. So they saw them recording at Gates Barbecue in the plaza. The Casey Current Stadium recording, that stayed locked down. That was not in any of the until the very end that came out. Like we knew they were going to be involved and there was going to be a heavy emphasis on women's soccer, but yeah, the rest of the world, that stayed locked down. I was pretty proud of that. That like we all followed the rules and kept this a secret.
This is true. We did sign the NDA. When people asked me what I did, and I was like, well, I filmed at a grocery store. The big secret is, spoiler alert, Ted is working there, which is like, that's, what are you talking about? When we last left Ted Lasso. So I was like, I just had to leave it as like, I was in a grocery store. I mean, a lot of people knew we were at the grocery store as well. I mean, there were people who camped out probably 15 hours that day to just get a glimpse of what was going on. Not to jump the story at all, but yeah, it was like, there are some big plot things here that are going to have people wondering, and it feels so good to have that off my chest now. I can talk about it.
I know. That was heavy to hold all year long.
Really? I mean,
like It was a really exciting thing that we all got to do, and just like I'm so, again, I could not imagine my life without sisters. And I think it helped us get through this year that we all, or several of our sisters were in it, and we were able to talk about it. And like
That's
it's the
such a good point.
opposite. It's the opposite of trauma bonding. It was like an exciting event bonding that we had this really, I don't know, there's a better word for that.
It was
Again,
just bonding.
it was just, oh, is that
Just
what that
bonding.
is?
I think that's what it
You
is.
don't have to use the word trauma before?
I don't know. We'll fact check that.
Okay. I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me.
I know what you mean about the sisters, because sometimes our little group chat is my social media. Like,
yes.
it might be something that I would maybe have an inkling to share with the world, but instead I share it with you guys. And if I get a really good response, I might still share it on social media. And sometimes I don't need to, because I got a reaction from you guys. I got my dopamine hit from you guys.
Yeah.
So
like a little
that
test
being
crowd.
said, once you knew it was real.
Okay, so that day on set, the boys, so they basically got taken away for like 3 hours. They had people in charge of them that were in charge of the kids, but they had to have an adult on set just in case anything happened. So while the boys were back there, then I got another email for 2 days later for Barry and I to be on set. And I think at this point we had our phones, we were supposed to have them on airplane mode. And I think I did for the most part of the day. But like I did at a different situation in my life, I had to tell you guys what was happening. And I was like, here's the link, fill it out. You have to do it. And Ellie, you were in Colorado at the time.
Yeah, I was. And I'm trying to remember, because I, of course, have your location at all times. It's a requirement.
Oh, that might have been what happened, is you saw that, like, I don't have your location. What's going on?
I think there was something weird, because checking your location is like, when I get up in the morning, I check my email and then I check your location.
Yeah.
And I think I have a lot of support in the community about that. I have an alumni who told me, like, that's like her social media is like, where are all my friends in the country or whatever. And I was like, that is such a good idea. So now, yeah, I check where you are.
I mean,
I'm not embarrassed.
Follow a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, to make sure like they're always safe and I always know where they are. But I wouldn't say it's the very first thing I do when I wake up in the morning.
Okay.
Is that
potato? Maybe you're not as obsessed with me as I am with you, and we just learned that.
Okay. Well, okay.
So I think at some point you maybe, because I think we were writing each other in the group chat, like the other sisters were like, have you heard anything or whatever? Yeah. And finally at some point, maybe like at lunch or something, you were like, Barry and I got an email. This is real. Yeah. And you may have even said, we just saw Juno.
Oh my God. I feel like we're only going to get through day one on this episode.
I know.
Day one was just really, really special. A lot of really amazing things kind of like came to fruition that day. Juno.
And one of them is Juno Temple, who plays Keely on the show. Is she as wonderful as she is on the show?
Even more. Even more.
No.
Yes, it's not possible, and she is. So my very first experience is, well, I will say this, I broke the rules. I didn't stay in the tent with the parents because I am from Kansas City and I've worked with the KC Current. So all my friends were in the building. So of course I was going to go and talk to them.
None of this surprises me that you broke the rules. None of it.
I am a rule follower when it matters. And this...
Give me an example. Like you stop at stoplights?
Yes, I wear a seatbelt. I don't smoke at ball fields. Forever, to be clear.
Thank you for doing that. So those are the rules you follow.
That's what
You are also not a smoker, so you don't smoke anywhere, but okay.
But
and you break the rules when Ted Lasso is involved.
When Apple TV Warner Brothers is telling me to stay in this tent and do not leave. I had to go to the bathroom. And then I ran into a friend and she's like, come on back. So I went on back. Well, within minutes of me being back there, who walks by? Juno Temple and Hannah Waddingham. And I am like a little bit starstruck because I know they are regular people. I know this. And then this is just their job. But like, I did not expect to see them close up and personal. And so I don't know what happened to me, but I had a couple of these keychains in my purse. And I just said, oh my gosh, I didn't know if I'd get to see you guys, but I brought these for you just in case I did. And she looked at it and just pulled me in for a hug immediately. At that point, I was got a little blackouty because I'm like,
How
what
does
is
she
actually
smell?
happening?
Delicious?
Oh
She
my,
smells so
so
good.
good. She looked
Yeah.
so cute. Like but that didn't even, her energy is
Mm.
just, I just wish I could talk to her one more time. Like for an extended conversation
We'll have
because
her on the
she was,
pod.
yeah, just boss babe vibes through and through, and just so much light, so much energy. Her smile, it was like she wanted to see me, like she was excited to see me, and I was just a person that was in a spot I wasn't supposed to be in. It was just
Just a
really,
little rule
really
breaker.
sweet. So what happened in that moment is she asked about this keychain. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's my son Quentin's business. He 3D prints them. I really think Jason would enjoy this story because we've been able to give quite a bit back to Children's Mercy. We're a Children's Mercy family. He does a fundraiser for Children's Mercy called Big Slick, and we've gone to it for years and years, even before we were a Children's Mercy family. They've raised millions and millions of dollars. And I thought, hey, he's really going to like Quentin's story. So if you wouldn't mind giving this to him, here's our website on the back of this card. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell him, of course. Thank you so much. They gave me another hug, headed out. And so I chit chatted a little bit more there. I headed back to the tent because, what if one of my kids came back and they're like, hey, where's this parent? So I did go back to the tent, and Zeke did need to come back for some water because it's a hot day. It's the middle
It's a
of
hot
July in
day.
Kansas City.
That's a long day. That's a
And we
long
were
day.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zeke comes back and he has someone that's with him and taking care of him. And I had also said thank you to her and given her a keychain and some of our Casey baby stickers. And she let me know that, oh my goodness, the cast all has name badges on it. They've all got your stickers on it. They want more. Can we get more of these keychains? Like, because I only brought a couple of them. So I handed them off to her, gave her what I had, and she's like, is there any way we can get more? Well, between then, I had gotten the email saying Barry and I were chosen for another day. So I said, yeah, no problem. We'll print more tonight. We'll bring them tomorrow or the next, And she was just thrilled. So now lovingly called Auntie Sarah because she has adopted my boys. So at the end of the day, the boys came back, all three of them at this time. And I asked Quentin, hey, did you get to see any of the famous people, like any of the celebrities? And he's like, oh, I don't know, because to him, again, these are all regular people, which they are, and that's good. And I'm glad he sees them that way. But he did say, Mom, I got to see the director. And he just kind of said it in a way that I knew that was really, really cool for him. Again, we've talked about Quentin's brain. It's just different. At school, he's the one that's coming up with the plan, recording, taking the video home, editing for hours for every project. Everyone knows Quentin's going to do it, and that's what he loves, and that's what he's good at. So it was just really, really cool for him to see this director, a person doing that in real life, like for a real big show. That was his big takeaway from the day, is like getting to see how things are made. And the celebrities, they were there, yeah, sure, but we were over here doing our thing, and that was important too.
So stinking cool. That was just the beginning. Because
that was just the beginning. Oh my gosh, because I ran into Juno again that day.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that conversation really made me be like, oh my God, we're actually soul sisters. So what happened is I was running to grab lunch, and we had to go to the other side of the stadium for that. And she happened to be out taking a break, I think with her hair and makeup possibly. And so I just stopped by and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I just have to let you know what you and what you guys are doing on screen means to us. Even before I got to that point, she was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I gave it to Jason. I told him all about Quentin. This is hours later. And she remembered my son's name from that small little conversation. And I was like, okay, that right there told me more about her than a full conversation. That she remembered Quentin's name, and she's like, I told him all about him, so at that point we were talking. So I just said, I wanted to let you know how much your status, your boss babe status, what you're doing in the show, showing women empowered means to us, like females that are in the business realm and trying to grow our own things. And she was like, oh my gosh, no. What I'm doing is making my role look like my friends. I'm taking everything that
Mm.
they're doing, I'm bringing that to on screen. So I'm getting all my inspiration from people like you. And it was just, I don't know, just so heartwarming. So I just said, you're just changing. You literally are changing the world, changing the way we view ourselves. And she said, honestly, it's not even really for the women. We're just hoping to change a couple other minds with this season. And I was
Yeah.
just like, yes, girl, yes. Yes, chef. Let's go.
Yes, chef.
And I knew nothing about the season, what it was going to be about, but I just, as a woman in leadership, as a woman growing a business, like, yes, we need this and we need everyone to hear it. We can do
Thousand
hard
percent.
things.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yes.
That's all we know how to do is hard things. I'm gonna be real with you.
That's a good point.
I think at that point, obviously you guys, you come home from that day, the boys are exhausted, but you ended up sharing, kind of some of the links to get in, and apply. So I was lucky enough to hit a couple of those that I was going to be in town for in Kansas City. You were so nice to watch my kids while I went to see Beyonce in Vegas. So I dropped my kids off there, went to Vegas and came back. But that happened for two of our sisters as well. So the day you filmed, so if people want to go back and watch episode 1, the day you filmed, you guys were at a soccer field. You were outside again.
Yeah.
How
So
long were you there for?
14 and a half hours. So there were limits on the kids. They could only be there for, depending on their age, like babies, 4 hours, then 6 hours, then 8 hours. So our kids could only be there for 8 or 9 hours, I think,
Crazy.
with a
So
mandatory
long
break,
time.
like very specific about all the things. Us, it was like you can make overtime.
Yeah.
So we were there for 14 and a half hours. And I will say, they took care of us. Oh my, so much crafty, so many snacks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They kept us in an air conditioning bus when we weren't working or on screen. It was a great experience. Everything was thought of.
What was your role when you were the extra? What were you hired
I
as?
I don't know if I put this in my profile, but I am a professional children's spectator for kids sports because that's what I do. And whether it's for my kids or my kids' friends, I'm always at a field, like watching these kids and cheering them on. And that's what I
when
got
I'm
chosen for.
when I am checking your location, 90% of the time you were at a baseball field.
Yeah. That's just me. That's what I do. This time it was a little different because my kids have only played soccer for a couple seasons and I was a soccer spectator. So I did have to like change my role a
You had
little
to
bit
dig
and think
deep.
through that. Yeah. It wasn't just completely natural to me, but my job was to hold a chair and walk and greet everyone on the bleachers, which was pretty natural to me. I try to be pretty friendly and say hi to the other parents and then sit down next to my spouse, which was not my real spouse. And then Barry, he got chosen for that day as well. And he was a dad on the other team, way on the opposite side of the field. It was just so funny that they would like split people up on different things, even though we're a married couple. Just learned so many different things. And then Lauren, our other sister, was there that day and she was on a completely different team. They split us up on teams like A, B, C, D, and these parents go do this at this time. So she was on a bus for like 8 hours straight, I swear, like all day long. They're like, are they even going to use me? And so she was kind of upset, but then she ended up being right next to Ted and Keely. Like she was next to all of them when they ended up recording, where I'm in the very, very back. You can only see me because I'm wearing a hot pink skirt. Like I know I'm there, but you're not going to notice that it was me unless you're looking for me.
That is something that I was so impressed by how much they think through, where they're like, well, I used these people towards in this scene. I'm going to make sure I use this group
Yes.
closer up from this angle or what have you. Like very thoughtful of everyone's time and energy that you're going there. I don't know if this is common knowledge, but as an extra, at least in Kansas is where I filmed, you get paid minimum wage and then time and a half or what have you. So I would have done
I don't
it for
think
free,
that's normal.
obviously.
Yeah, that's not normal for every production. I think this is normal for what they are doing with this show. And I think
1,000%.
Jason Sudeikis is setting the standards through and through of what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
He chose to have it in Kansas City and to support our Kansas City film community. Everyone they used was local, and everyone was so happy and knew what a big deal it was to be on that show. It was so cool.
yeah. Well, I love, there are so many little pieces and thought processes that I got to see. And I also, like, I mentioned that I was in a grocery store, so I'm so sorry. I was in air conditioning the whole time. I was actually freezing the whole day, by the way. You were outside
Oh,
and
it
hot.
sounds rough.
Sorry about that. But there were moments where they would like pair you up with someone to shop. And then later
Yeah.
on, they'd pair you with a different person. I'd be like, I hope no one notices I'm shopping with a different man. It is very hilarious to think that was a concern when you actually
Yes.
watch the episode. When you're like a mile behind in the shot and you're fuzzy, I'm like, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to notice that guy is
Oh
different
my
from the
God.
one I was shopping granola bars with.
Yes, I cannot tell you because they paired me up with like a 21-year-old. And I was like, you think I look like I should be with this person?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm so used to not getting carded anymore, or, like I have all the gray hairs and all the things. And then you watch the shot and you're like, oh, because it didn't matter.
That's because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
But
Well,
it
we
did
have
great things for my
it
ego.
did do great
Yes.
things for your ego.
Yeah.
So you guys were at a park. We can see Lauren walking by with her, chair slung over her shoulder. There's a scene where Ted is helping his mom move out of his childhood home, which has some emotions attached to it. And our sister Katie is in the background shopping at this garage sale while Ted and his mom are having a pretty intimate conversation. So
Yeah.
Katie was kind of privy to that. She was hearing that conversation all that whole day. And I think she kept that a secret from us. I don't think she told us what that
She did.
conversation was.
She didn't tell. Yeah, she did not tell us what the conversation was for sure.
No,
She did just say like, "Hey, I was pretty up close. I got a listening role," and she did.
Oh,
That was
that's
a big
right.
deal.
She did a listening role. For listeners of the pod who don't know what a listening role is, it means someone comes over and talks to her and she has to go, "Mhm."
But
And she
the
did an
thing,
amazing job.
you have to look like you're doing it normal. And if you have never done this before, when they tell you to walk from here to there, you literally forget how to walk, and you just like you don't look like how you were doing it normally anymore because you're thinking. They're like, that is the one thing I have to do right now is walk from there to there. So you're thinking about every step that you're taking, and you're overthinking it 1,000%. And you do walk different, and you nod your
Yes.
head different because
Please do not zoom in when you're watching the show. You are going to be like, she has never walked that way a day in her life.
Yes,
That's so weird. I told a friend, I was like, this was really a stretch for me because in the show, I'm pushing a shopping cart. I would never do that. I order my groceries online. I mean, what? So, yes, we will obviously share on Instagram some of the like screenshots and screen grabs from our day. I think there was, you mentioned this a little bit earlier when they preface in the morning, just a friendly reminder that everybody's just at work today, including you, including Jason. There's a scene, there's a part where he's just walking through the store and he just walks past you and you just kind of look up, and say, hey, or what have you. As you're walking through the store, you say hello to people or
especially in the Midwest, you do. You're like, hey, or you smile.
Yes. There was something really special happening the day that I was on set at the grocery store, which was I was not by myself. I was joined by my nephew, Quentin.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the babies that were on set. 3 babies.
There were 3 babies. There were babies on set. You guys, you heard it here first.
Oh my
And
gosh. They had 3 babies there just in case one wasn't, they didn't know if they have 4 hours to shoot this with babies, and that's it. And again, we didn't really talk about this, but they use one camera and then do the same scene over and over, like 8 different times to get it from all the angles.
that's
And
true.
so it has to
Yeah.
look the exact same from all the different angles. So they had 3 babies on set to make sure that they had the right smile. And oh my God, that baby was so perfect that they ended up with. It was
Oh
so
my
cute.
gosh, so cute.
That's what you were referring to?
Well, I was actually referring to my nephew who used to be a baby, Quentin. And he got to come on set that day because he had a very special role for the day. He wasn't an extra that day. He was something else.
So even you saying that and me getting to share this with the world, I feel a little emotional about it. I'm not going to lie. Because it still is one of those
Wrong
things that
podcast. This is We Have Fun though. It's not gonna
we
lie.
did have fun because the picture I'm going to share is him holding a cup full of Nerds gummy clusters. And that, like,
Yep. So the
because again,
special role he had was to eat snacks.
yes, and he did really, really well at that. I'm telling you, we need to really break down the crafty they had on this show because it was amazing. Every drink, snack you can ever imagine was an option. Okay, crafty for those that aren't in the acting realm,
Including us.
including us. Am I saying it right? They basically had tables where you can go and get snacks and drinks and stay nourished throughout the day. So what had happened is our dear friend Sarah, I had printed off 100, probably 100, 125 keychains at this point. She so graciously got them out to all the crew, everyone that was on set in Kansas City, and then she had to move on and go to a different project. Well, that day she got a text message from someone that was still on set saying, hey, Declan, which was the director of episode 1, and Townie want to know where all these keychains are coming from. They're seeing them on everyone's lanyard. They want one. And so she texts me and says, hey, the director wants a keychain. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool that the director is saying like he wants this Philippe keychain that I was worried about maybe we would get sued for.
Still might.
Still might. I mean, this could be what does us in. I think it's worth sharing. I think it's going to bring enough joy and happiness that it's worth sharing that we'll take a lawsuit on for our listeners. Right?
That's how much we love you. Yeah,
that's totally. We love you so much. Thank you for listening.
And here I was thinking, like, should we blur this when we go to edit? Should we blur it out?
They're like, no.
I like where you're coming from.
Put it out there. I want them to know what really happened. And this is like a real cool thing that happened. So she said, get it to this person the next day. So my middle son, Everett, had also been chosen for another day on set that was at an elementary school. Also my niece, Emma, and they were playing soccer with Henry when Ted and Michelle were having a conversation in the parking lot. They're playing soccer in the background, which was pretty cool as well. So we're there that day. We pass off the keychains to the person she told me to because the actors, the director, definitely, you are not getting back to that space and you will not have any communication. He's a very big deal and a very important job. And so I pass him off, and then we're sitting having lunch after they're done shooting, and someone comes over to me and says, hey, are you the keychain mom? And I was like, yes. And that's at that point where I was like, oh no, it's happening.
I'm in trouble.
Getting in trouble. Like we were out of school and I literally felt like I was getting called to the principal's office. And I was. She said, the director would like to speak to you. Okay. So I put down my food. I grabbed...
You were at the craft table?
Again.
I don't think I knew that part of the story.
No, this was lunch. We were away from the crafty table that day. We were at the lunch table at this moment, like literally having our lunch at the tables that students in an elementary school eat at. So I was actually watching Emma at that point too, my niece, because Katie had a call. So I was in charge of Emma. I had Evie, and I said, okay, you guys are going to have to come back there with me. So they walked me the whole way. I don't think I was saying anything at that point because I'm so nervous of what was happening. And I get back there and he has the biggest smile on his face. He wraps me up in a hug and he just immediately it's almost like he was tearing up already. He was asking about the keychains, asking about Quentin, asking about the business, just everything about us when we're on his show. We're on Ted Lasso, this huge worldwide production.
Nando season 4, but okay,
I'm sorry, Nando season 4. And it was unreal that he had interest in us and what our family was doing and what was happening in the Kansas City community with it. And we talked back there for probably about 10 minutes, and he asked about our experiences on set and the days that we were there. And he was talking to Emma and he was talking to Evie about what they did that day. And he also, we told him that we were at the current scene. I feel so weird talking about this. I'm like, can I talk about this? Yes, I can talk about this now. He asked about the current scene and I said, oh, my 3 boys were in it. And he said, I actually reviewed that footage last night. One of your boys looked right at the camera. We don't they knew they had done 3 separate takes for them and it was just them and their parents and their older brother. But all 3 boys there together. And I thought that was So cool that they had a chance of being in Ted Lasso. But he said one of them looked right at the camera, so we probably won't be able to use the footage. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like it's just fine. In that conversation, he did say, I really want to meet Quentin. Is there any chance he could come to one of, like, are you guys coming back for any other shoots? And he found a way to have us back on set for one more day, which was thankfully the air conditioned grocery store day.
It was cold in there, wasn't it?
And he chose that too. He's like, the next day they were shooting the garage sale scene, which was outside, and he said that wouldn't be a good day. He said, let's do it when the grocery store. He did not warn us that it would be cold though. We should have brought jackets. I actually remember going out to my car, and of course I had my Goodwill donations in the back because they ride around in our car for about 6 months at a time, because I can get it out of my house into the car, but I cannot get it anyways. So luckily I had some sweaters in there, so I was able to go grab that. But we showed up, and he came out and greeted us in front of like all the other extras, asked all these questions about Quentin's, what film equipment do you use? What computer do you, what are you doing with your business? You just had a normal down to earth conversation. And you could see in his eyes that like this, he wasn't doing this for Quentin. He was doing this for his inner child. Like either someone did do this for him as a child or didn't, and he could have used it. And he knew that this was a way that he could rebuild part of his story. Like you could just see, I don't know, you could see it, you could feel it. It was a really special moment. So he kind of explained what was going to happen during the day. They had to do the shoot, get the babies on and off set because they only had 4 hours. So they had to get that done. And then let's bring you back so you can watch what's happening here. So after Quentin thoroughly enjoyed the crafty that morning, after lunch, they brought him back and positioned him. When Ted is checking out that nice, sweet lady with the cat food and the cigarettes, we were just one aisle over. Like literally one aisle over. And you can't see it in the show, but it's like, oh, we were just right there. We were right there. And it was amazing. We walked back there. He handed Quentin his director script, which had like drawings of it, of all the different places they were going to do camera shots. He said, read over this so you know what's going on in the scene. I'll be right back. And, went on and did his work and was talking to everyone because everyone needed to know information from him. Came back and talked through the scene and why we're starting the scene this way and how that's going to wrap up at the end of the season and why we make this decision and who made that decision. It wasn't him. It was Jason Sudeikis. And he is the brains behind all of this and all, just really, really cool and explaining like, this is why we do things this way. It takes 30 minutes for each shot. And that's because we have to move the lighting around to make sure the lighting is perfect. And exactly the same as it was when we did the camera from this angle. Oh, he had to wear headphones because the actors really don't speak that loud. Even being one aisle over, we couldn't hear things that well. So he made sure to get Quentin headphones and a headset so we could hear exactly what they were hearing in the microphones. Just the most lovely human, the most gracious human, would like turn around mid-scene just to like, are you good? Are you, just making sure it was the most lovely experience for Quentin. And I, as a parent, I did not have my phone back there with me because I didn't want to break any rules for this. This one, definitely not going to break rules. But thankfully, Quentin, he had to have a person from the union assigned to him since there was a child on set that was looking out for his well-being and making sure they're following all the rules, which they were perfectly. But he was able to snap one picture, which I'll share here. And it has Jason in the background. And then this was also the one day that Jason's parents were on set. So we got to have a lovely conversation with them. And Kathy Sudeikis is just a wonderful human. And we were just gabbing about all the mom things and how proud she was of Jason and how things have kind of unfolded with her grandkids being in London half the year, and just a really, really great experience. And then she was just so interested in Quentin too. It was just a normal, like, oh, well, tell me more about, who are you guys and what are you doing in the community? And of course, she has a big heart for Children's Mercy as well. So it was really fun to share what we're doing to give back to our community since they have been so philanthropic and just brought so much light to our community and all around the world, really.
Truly. That day, I think Quentin left somewhere near, sometime like the evening time. I was there about 14 hours as well. When you leave set, or you really don't know what they got. You have no clue if you're in it, if you're close. You're doing you mentioned the baby scene. We probably were filming that for about 2 hours, and I was meticulously counting little Debbie snacks for my class. I tapped into my teacher. That's all I could do.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, 12, 24, 36. Oh, did I get enough variety for my class? It, probably just well thought out. When you watch the actual episode a year later, I'm a mile away from where they're actually filming. I was so intentional with all my movements, and I think they want you to be, right? They're
Yeah.
like, just in case, just in case. So we have these experiences. We can share like very small snippets with each other, sister group wise. A year later comes out August 5th, and we all got to watch it. And we are just screaming so excited. Meanwhile, my children, so Ted Lasso isn't really a kid show, so my kids haven't seen it. They've heard of it, probably just more so because of this experience. But I point to them because it's the beginning of the show. We're in the grocery store, and I'm like, there I am. And it's maybe 0.3 seconds. And my children are like, that's it.
That's
And I
it.
was like, it's like, you don't understand. It's such a big deal that I was even there or whatever. And I'm like pointing, I'm like, you see that guy's arm? I was right next to it. You can't see me. But I'm like, I was right next to him. Or, right where that baby is, about a half mile that way. I was counting little Debbie snacks. So it's just really fun to go through and then spot everybody, spot your pink skirt in the background and, Katie at the garage sale, which everyone is like, oh my gosh, Aunt Katie is the star of Ted Lasso. Because she is like,
Yes.
really, I mean, and rightfully so. So anyway, it
I
was
think
so
she
fun.
might. This might be something. This might be a new path for her. She did a really good job nodding. I don't know if I could have done that.
So true. So true. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to ask her where she trained. She seemed classically trained.
She really did.
Oh,
I think also, so usually the actors are not really supposed to be, we're not supposed to talk to them, all of the things. But Jason actually approached her that day because he thought he had like gone to high school with her or something. Like, I think I know you from somewhere. So that was kind of a pretty cool experience too, because normally they're not really engaging a whole lot on set.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I truly don't want to betray Jason's confidence, but he answered a FaceTime call at the grocery store and came down my aisle where I was like standing. Here's one weird thing. You are told where to be at all times. So if they don't tell you to move from that spot, you just don't. I agree.
Okay.
I am a rule breaker, but I'm also a rule follower when it counts.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I thought that was interesting too, because Jason was watching some type of game on his phone. Like there was some sports game going on in the moment. I can't remember. It might have been, no, would it be All-Star Week? I'm not sure. But he would look down at his phone. He was watching something. And then immediately they'd be like, action. And he goes right into character.
Yeah, it's
It
impressive.
was really amazing to see because I don't think I could do that once again. I don't know. It's just a whole different world.
Yeah, he came down the aisle, answered a FaceTime call, and
with his kids, right?
With his kids, right? And before I was like, oh my God, I can't be listening to this private thing. I heard, ooh, I like your mustache, Dad. Which I just thought, I'm like, oh, this is so precious. This is so great. Just Dad's growing a mustache for his job. So anyway, it was such a cool experience. It's a great episode. Really excited for this season. Anything else you want to say about our experience that we left out?
There was some other things that happened afterwards. The director did reach out to us again and connected with us through Quentin's website, just saying what it meant to him to have us on set. We had printed him a couple other items, a larger believe sign. He's like, I'm putting this on my desk right when I get back to London, just showing that like what he did for us meant so much to us, but also showed that he appreciated what we did for him. And then even obviously we've thought about this every single day and been waiting for this show to come out for an entire year. He reached out to me the week before it was released, just saying like, hey, don't know if you remember me. We met last year on set.
So hilarious.
Like it's like I'm not writing in my journal about it every day, like so that I remember this is a real thing that happened. Just wanted to remind you that Ted Lasso is coming out next week. Hope you'll be watching and hope you can spot your kids in the stadium. And it was just like, once again, not only are you thinking about us when you have a premiere of the largest show in the world happening, that you took the time to email me to make sure that I was watching, which of course even before this happened, I told everyone about Ted Lasso. I was probably the one that was like, Allie, you need to watch it. I think, yes. And I still tell everyone, like, it is worth the Apple TV subscription. Maybe we can get a code. Maybe we could work on that and we'll put it in the caption. We won't, because I don't know. I don't know if people
First of all, they're suing us, so it's going to be a conflict of interest.
I'm pretty sure I'll be speaking with our lawyers soon. So let me see what I can work out.
I'm sure they'll be really excited to partner.
You need to watch Ted Lasso. But really, really good people. Really making a difference in the hearts and minds of people everywhere.
On theme with Ted Lasso, which was filmed partly in a grocery store, we got our protein break snack from a grocery store.
I thought you were going to say biscuits with the boss. Like, this is, I feel like this is the American biscuit.
That would have been so much better. We're so excited for our protein break today because, first of all, we both have it.
Yay!
Number two, I think it is something we can both get on board with. Number three, I'm hungry. So let's do it. What do we have today?
Oh my gosh. I think you picked this out specifically for me because I love Eggo waffles. I always have. It's a treat that I always enjoyed, but they have protein Eggo waffles now. Of course, I got the chocolate chip brownie. Did not expect the whole thing to be chocolate, which I guess I should have, but it looks super yummy.
Ooh.
I thought it was still going to be like waffle colored and then just chocolate in it. Because chocolate chip waffles literally are one of my favorite things to just like grab and
I think
ready.
I think with I think we're similar. We don't get hungry first thing in the morning. We just want coffee. And when I say morning, I mean up until 2 p.m. But an Eggo, I can eat at any time.
But how many grams are in yours? Because is it 10 grams in yours?
It is 10 grams per serving, which is 2 waffles. So that would be 5 grams per waffle.
Do you know how that compares? How does that compare to the normal waffles? Oh, we need to try it first. Let's try it first.
Okay. I'm hungry. 130 calories for mine per serving. What is yours?
180 per serving.
Okay,
it's a little bit higher.
Basically just chocolate. Also, I let mine sit for a little bit so you're not getting that crunch in the microphone. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm not telling a difference between regular Eggos in this one. I'm not feeling like a weird graininess or a weird taste.
It's like I'm eating an Eggo waffle.
You heard it here first, folks. It's just like you're eating an Eggo waffle.
I mean, our catchphrase is I'd put this in my mouth, and I would.
Is that our catchphrase? Okay. I'm happy about this.
Yes, Chef. Chef Eggo.
I will eat these.
Yeah, I'll eat them.
And please note that we love Bear Bells. We love them. We tried them a couple of episodes ago, but every flavor I would not eat again. So really? I just want to say that we're being honest on this pod.
What flavor would you not eat?
We're not going to lie, though. I had one yesterday that was like salty peanut, and I did not finish it. I did not finish it, which bummed me out. But Bear Bells, please keep sending us. Please send us different ones to try.
Yeah, we would love that.
We would absolutely love that. But Eggos, yes, chef. No notes.
Keep making these.
Will you eat that as like a dessert too? Is that how chocolatey it is?
I'll eat this. Yeah, I'll eat this all the time.
Okay, so I bought buttermilk and blueberry. You bought
all three. I brought
all three. Okay,
buttermilk and chocolate.
And the chocolate ones.
I'll probably just eat these.
Okay, perfect.
However, if I could also add some like peanut butter to it, kick up the protein.
Okay, bye, Eggos. Go watch Ted Lasso. At the moment we're recording this, the second episode is out. But really just watch episode 1 over and over again. It's so fun. It's so great.
It is. Let us know if you can spot us now that we've described the scenes we're in. Also, I'm going to add some links. What?
I just like, it's the hardest. No, it's the hardest Where's Waldo in the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. It'll
Truly.
be a
It's so
challenge for
hard.
you.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
so
really
hard.
cool because a lot of people had no idea at all that this experience had happened for a family. And they are like one of Quentin's teachers emailed us, like, oh my gosh, I spit out my coffee. Like that had to be you. Like there's no other person. The other cool thing is he's like wearing a 3D printed chain. So that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna link a couple things as seen in Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Our Casey Kind shirts, our Believe keychains, our 3D printed pipe chains, and we're gonna see if we can keep this kindness train going.
I
So
love
we're
that.
gonna continue putting these funds into Casey Kind in our community with any purchases that are made. So
We love
um,
it.
yes,
Oh,
this is
thanks
going to
for
be so fun.
listening. It was so fun to like relive it all. All right, come back and see us. Bye.
Bye.